Namaskar. You are watching Dr. KK Med Talks Fridays with Dr. Anita Kant, non-stop show 1127th episode. Let's have the headlines of the day. Around 199 million women globally live with diabetes, a figure expected to soar to 313 million by 2040. The condition is the ninth leading cause of death, driving 2.1 million premature deaths annually, with premenopausal women at higher risk. India's health ministry plans to introduce cigarette style warning labels on popular traditional snacks like samosas and jalebis, crucial to highlight the risk of sugar and oil heavy foods. Research backs Indian staples like idli and chas for their anti inflammatory, blood sugar regulating benefits and help prevent diabetes and obesity. Researchers in New York found that pregnant women who ate chili had a 3.5% risk of gestational diabetes versus 7.4% in non consumers, as capsaicin is found to boost insulin sensitivity. So now today, as you can understand from what I have been talking, that we will be talking about food, culture, and control in diabetes in women across cultures. So our ancestors were really, maybe they were not educated enough, but they had really scientific notions as far as eating, combinations of food, and time of eating and time of exercise was concerned. They were very particular, and I think इसी वजह से वो हमसे healthier थे, उन्हें हमसे कम प्रॉब्लम्स हुई. हम आज की डेट में शायद साइंटिफिकली ज्यादा पढ़ गए हैं, बट उतने स्मार्ट नहीं हो पाए हैं एज फार एज डाइट इज कंसर्न. तो आज हमें इस सब चीजों के बारे में बताने के लिए आई हैं डॉक्टर धारिणी कृष्णन. Dr. Dharini Krishnan is a distinguished consultant dietitian based in Chennai with a PhD and extensive experience in clinical nutrition. She actively consults across leading hospitals and polyclinics, guiding patients with evidence based dietary interventions. As the director of DV Living Sciences Enterprises Private Limited, she is dedicated to advancing research in dietetics and promoting scientific approaches to nutrition and lifestyle management. Beyond the clinical practice, Dr. Dharini serves as the secretary of EcoScience Research Foundation, where she contributes to the organic movement and sustainable food practices. With her unique blend of academic expertise, clinical experience, and commitment to environmental health, she's a strong advocate for holistic well being and responsible nutrition. Welcome, Dr. Dharini. I'm
Thank you.
looking
Thank you,
forward
ma'am.
to I'm looking forward to a great time with you regarding this topic. So, can shall we start?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Pleasure to be on the show.
Thank you. Same here. Pleasure to have you on the show. We have compiled certain questions which are based on, what the readers usually, what the listeners usually tell us that they want to know about. So the first question that has been put is, what makes women more vulnerable to diabetes compared to men?
One is post pregnancy, they put on weight and they don't lose it. And that could
Yes.
be one of the reasons to kickstart diabetes, which could be a borderline level, but they are actually adding oil to the fire. The second is they are so busy with work that they don't find time for themselves for exercise, which could also be another reason which could this thing. And because they are multitasking, the stress levels are very high for them. Hence, all these three factors can lead to early diabetes in women.
So, how does culture influence eating habits that may be increasing the incidence of diabetes in women?
See, basically, any festivity or culture that we talk about has a lot of carb foods which come in, and also something with sweet or sugar or jaggery which is there. And many people think that jaggery does not affect blood sugar, which is not true. And they also think that honey does not affect blood sugar, whereas it's all the same. It increases the blood sugar. So when we talk about festivity, there is sweets. So they always say, "Arey, ek din hi hai, only for today. Let's eat it." You know. So these are the problems, and on that particular day, to make something special for a person who has diabetes in a big family is a little difficult. So it's not taken care of. And then they eat the normal food like white rice or something which does not have fiber, and this can lead to trouble.
Yes, I agree with you. And are symptoms of diabetes different in women than in men?
Yeah, it depends. Like one is the burning of, the private parts is a very classic example in women, and in men that may not be the case. Whereas other symptoms like, polyphagia, polydipsia, all this is common in both genders. But this is something which is classic, and actually, a lot of people find diabetes once this symptom comes.
Yes, I agree with you. And now, can gestational diabetes increase the risk of type 2 diabetes later on in life?
Yeah, it's very possible because after gestation, they don't even take care of themselves. And in very few women, it does not really affect them later. But, in many cases, after 3 or 4 years, they become frank diabetes. In some cases, even after GDM, when they get out of, after their delivery also, the sugar levels are still high. So it is possible, very, very possible that they get into type 2 diabetes.
Yes, like you said, they don't look after themselves as far as losing weight is concerned. And although I find traditionally our eating habits were much healthier than what they are now, but traditionally after delivery, most of the communities I've seen tend to give lots of fat in the form of ghee and lots of dry fruits, and they make laddus which are so sweet and are full of dry fruits and ghee and all those kind of things. So those also traditionally don't let them lose weight, and also don't let them come back from diabetes to normal blood sugar, or maybe the cholesterol is affected, and over a long period of time it actually helps diabetes to come back with obesity. Do you think that's right?
Yeah, it's right. If you see the older times, they still did a lot of physical and manual work. So even if they had many children, they were not heavy, as much as heavy as today.
Yes.
Today, the people come and tell us first pregnancy we put on extra 10 kilos. Second pregnancy we put. That was not the case before. Like if you take the people who are 80 plus today, they had many more children. They had a flat tummy, and they had a good, maybe a little higher than pre pregnancy, first pregnancy, but not like this. They were not obese and getting into, overweight in this form, because I think they did a lot more of physical work inside the house. And after 3 months, they were just part of the family and they had to do everything. But today, that's not the case. And that's the reason, they tend to follow traditional diets, but they don't drop the quantities after, like starting the fourth month, fifth month, they eat more. Then, right through
Yes.
lactation. So, almost 1.5 years they're eating extra food, which they need to drop out after they stop lactation or as they stop lactation, which they don't do.
I'm reminded that one of the seniors in a particular conference meeting, she was saying that today's generation, they take pregnancy as though they are doing a big favor to their family or to their husbands, and they need to be treated like a queen, above everybody else, and that's why they eat and then they don't drop their weight later on also. I think that's true.
Correct.
We really pamper our children these days. So
Absolutely.
how does traditional cooking styles across cultures, like frying, refined carbs, or even sweets, impact the women's diabetes risk?
See, definitely when they make something, they feel they need to taste it. And this is a
Yes.
problem. So, when they're making for a family, specifically in joint families, where they're making large number of things, they are tired too. So they end up saying, "Why should I make something for myself? It's okay. One day, let me eat." But this one day is quite often. In some families, even on Fridays, Tuesdays, there are different foods. And then there are particular days in the month when it's celebrated also. So, with these issues, it's a big challenge for them because fried foods is part of the culture. And even though we say fried urad dal vada is healthy in once in a way because it does not rise sugar, but to take it often, the cholesterol and lipids can go up. So it is a big challenge, and sweets is the biggest challenge.
Yes, I agree with you. What is your opinion that vegetarian diets, which are very common in many cultures, are they protective or are they risky for women in diabetes? With diabetes, sorry.
See, vegetarian diet, if planned rightly, is one of the best. As you know, the world is moving towards plant-based diets. Not even the vegetarian diet we're talking in
Vegan.
India, where milk is there. Whereas world over, you step out and you say you're a vegetarian, they will not give you dairy products because they think you're a vegan actually. But today we are moving towards that. So, if you plan a vegetarian diet properly, you will get enough protein, you will get everything. It's just that people are not planning properly these days. And they blame the dal saying that it creates flatulence because they are not adding the ginger, the jeera, and things like that, which were used traditionally to not create the gas. Because people had dal every day in a
Every day.
vegetarian diet
Yes.
because that is the only source of protein apart from milk and curd. So some form of dal was always there. So that was okay. But today people immediately say, no, we are not able to digest it. So they drop the dal and they move to mixed rice. Maybe a pulao, maybe a lime rice, maybe a tamarind rice. And once this comes in a South Indian cooking, the dal is out. Whereas in a North Indian cooking, roti dal is pretty common. But there are some communities which don't eat dal, and hence trouble starts. Because if you have just vegetables and roti, it's not going to give you a balanced meal. And then it's not balanced for diabetes too.
I'll tell you another thing. In North India, although dal is frequently eaten in most of the states, and at least once a day, a dal is made. Certain states prefer in the morning hour, certain in the night hour. But certain communities, they will add a teaspoon or a 2 teaspoons hot, piping hot desi ghee to the dal. So that also takes away the nutrition
That's
from the
right.
dal. Yes.
Because today, as dietitians, we talk only about 3 teaspoons of oil a day
A
because
day,
hidden
yes.
oil is coming all the time because we are
Yes.
eating out. Though
Yes.
ICMR and NIN say 4 to 5 teaspoons, we
Hmm.
say only three
Yes.
because, we all eat out and the food that is not calculated. The amount of oil and ghee that comes from the food you eat is not calculated. So we are very strict on 3 teaspoons, and in that, if 2 teaspoons goes in the dal, then what to have for cooking?
Mm, cooking, right. And another thing is that you were talking about eating out. It has been seen that outside made food, outside a home kitchen made food, they are reusing the oils. Is it harmful?
Very harmful because trans fatty acids are developed. Even at homes, what they do is they fry and then they think they can use it for tatka. That should
Mm-hmm.
not be the case
Mm-hmm.
because trans fats are formed, and that is a sure case of cardiac disease. And when outside, you have no clue how long they have fried things, and then they are reusing that oil for a biryani or something like that. And the longer the oil is heated, more trans fats are formed. And it's not good at all. And then the next is They call it as ghee sweets. It's not really ghee because with the cost of butter, it's definitely something else they are adding, which again has trans fats. So we have to be very careful. Eating at home is the best, but today's generation, if you say that, they are not going to appreciate it.
Yes. So, how can women adapt traditional festive foods to make them diabetes friendly?
See, it's very easy when you're making a kheer to take out without sugar. You can add whatever, sugar free like stevia or something which is very safe, and you can take it. So, a kheer is the best. And if the kheer is made from dal, it's even better because the protein part is coming. But if the kheer is made from, vermicelli or it's made from suji or rava, it is carbs and it's refined carbs. That's not good. But coming to these fried sweets, there's little that can be done because already they are adding the sugar before, right? For example, let's take a gulab jamun. The one is it is only the refined flour which is used to make it. Second, it is added fried, and third, it's added to sugar syrup. So, what can you change in this? The only thing is they'll say that the sugar syrup we are adding, healthy stuff, but that's not the case. It's already fried and it's refined. So, most of the sweets are like that. Hence, we have to be very careful.
Right. And do these fasting practices they affect the blood sugar control in women with diabetes?
Definitely, if they don't fast properly, it is a problem. In fact, it was a rude shock to me about 10 years ago when I went to Pune for something during Navratri. And the foods which are supposed to be the fasting foods were higher calories and full of sugar compared to the normal foods. So, fasting doesn't mean that you eat a lot of sweets and you can eat anything you want apart from salt. That was not what was the culture before. It was milk and fruit separately, not together, because milk and fruits are never taken together. So, this is how it was done. But today, people are changing the system and making it more convenient, and mostly it's things bought out. So, hence, fasting has not become the culture what it was. In every religion, fasting, then people are looking at the feasting after fasting. Whether you
Yes.
take the Ramzan, whether you take the Lent, or whether you take the Navratri, every religion has changed it to make it a big feast after that. And this is not a great idea.
Right, I agree with you totally. So, what role does physical activity play in managing diabetes in women, and how do cultural restrictions affect this?
It's very, very important to do physical activity. But in fact, Dr. Anjana, who is Dr. Mohan's daughter, she has started with something called Thandav, which is only for women. And it's even for young women, older women, anybody, because she realized that women have a taboo to exercise. Right. Even in schools, after class 7, the girls are not going for exercise compared to the boys. So from there it starts. So it's very important to exercise. And today, with overweight and obesity, it's doubly more important to prevent diabetes, or once you get diabetes, to maintain it. So these are the problems. A 10-year-old child who comes to my clinic is 80 kilos when they should be 24 or 25 kilos. So their weight is higher than what is the weight adults should be. And adults, when they should be 80 kilos or 65 or 70, are actually 120 kilos. And they come and tell us that we've actually lost weight before we came to see you. So we don't even have scales to measure them because our scales are all 100 kgs unless you have a high end scale. So this
Yes.
is the problem we are facing today. Everybody needs exercise. Even the thin people have skinny fat, which means they have extra percentage of fat inside their body, which is not a great idea. because that the fat is the one which creates the non-communicable diseases.
Yes. So, how does stress, especially in women, impact the diabetes control?
Definitely, because stress is one of the pillars which creates increase of sugar. So, de-stressing is very important. But in a lifestyle where people don't have time to cook, people don't have time to do anything, and they have lot of time for this instrument, which takes away their time from life. So, you definitely have to pull that 5 to 10 minutes for de-stressing. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble.
Yes. Women undergo hormonal changes during puberty, then during pregnancy, and then menopause. Does all this hormonal up and down worsen diabetes in women?
Definitely, because of that they get into overweight, and the hormone issues creates insulin sensitivity, which leads to
Yes,
inflammation, and then comes diabetes. So today, all diseases are classified as inflammation, whether it's
yes,
cardiac disease, whether it's diabetes, whether it's cancer. So this kickstarts the hormones, the overweight, the obesity, the insulin sensitivity, which leads to inflammation, which actually brings this problem in.
so, and does sleeping pattern, which is often compromised because women say they have multiple responsibilities, they have finished so much of work, does that also affect diabetes?
Definitely, because you're against the circadian rhythm. If you go to bed by 10, you'll get up at least by 6, if not 5. And once you get up early, you have time to exercise. Your day is very different when you get up at 5, and it's very different when you get up at 8. So it makes a huge difference where you don't have time, you just have to have breakfast and run out. Whereas if you go to bed early and get up early, the whole day is different. But this doesn't happen. People actually only cook after 7:30, 8 p.m. They eat dinner only by 9:30, 10, and they sleep only at midnight or even later. And the newest culture, which gave me a shock, which I learned a month ago, where one of my clients came and told me, we keep an alarm and get up at 3 a.m. I said, what? For what do you get up at 2 and 3 a.m.? They said, we go and have biryani. You know, that's so nice.
Oh,
We have biryani at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. This gave me a rude shock of life because is this what people are doing? You know, it's totally against what people have done through
mm,
life. And you're against the circadian rhythm. You don't eat after 7 or 8 p.m. So we said 10 is bad. Now they've gone to 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. It's not like you're
yes.
coming in an international flight. They're
Mm,
keeping an alarm, getting up, going, eating, and coming back. So this is the kind of culture which is developing, which is very, very dangerous
yes.
to India's, population and health.
So, can you suggest some simple dietary swaps which women can make in their daily cooking to reduce the risk of diabetes?
See, very simple, I would say, is make your dal kakra for a North Indian. So that
Okay.
once you make it, it's easy. That's something you can have with curd, or you can add it to something and have so that the dal gets in. Or in a South Indian scenario, there is something they make called adai or peseret, which is actually a dosa form in dal. If you
Yes.
ferment that and make an idli type of thing with that, it's very easy to cook and they can have that for breakfast, which is very healthy. So these are the small tweakings we have to do, which makes yourself better. And vegetables. In case the vegetable made for the day is over, always have a cucumber, tomato ready so that you can fix a salad for yourself. So these kind of simple things goes a long way. And one thing about fruits is the moment mango season comes, people go berserk about it. Though there is a recent study to say that mango is better than having a slice of bread, which is true. I'm not
Yes.
saying no because that's a processed food and this is a fruit, which has at least some amount of fiber. But definitely, when it comes to mango season, people think they should have mango morning, evening, night. It should be as a fruit, it should be as a juice, it should be as a milkshake, and so on. Overdoing this is not good and definitely not when you're diabetic.
So coming to this, I want to know, okay, how does portion control versus food choices in managing diabetes work?
Portion control is an amazing thing to do because what you are eating, if you eat with the right mindset, it's fine. Like, for example, you're diabetic, you feel like having a small chicky one day. One small piece is okay, it's fine. But if you want to eat the whole chicky, a big bar, it's trouble. So, food choices are important, but portion control is equally or more important because you can't go overboard with anything, whether it's carbs or whether it's fruits or dry fruits or anything. You have to be careful. So portion control is very, very important, and with the mind that all five food groups should be taken every day. It's not protein one day, carbs one day, vegetables one day, fruits one day, dairy one day. No, we need all five every day. And in 2 meals, we need three of them at least, which is protein, vegetables, and dairy. Only then you will be able to reach. People reach dairy by taking lot of tea and coffee. That's not going to help because the calcium won't get absorbed. The tannins are there to stop the calcium absorption. And milk is one of the best bioavailable calcium in a vegetarian diet. So you must take some amount of dairy apart from coffee or tea. So better to stick to 2 or 3 and in small quantities because we allow only 400 ml, which is 2 cups of milk in a vegetarian diet, which means they need to take curd. So if they finish all the milk quota and coffee and tea, neither will the calcium reach them, nor will they get the good bacteria from curd. So that's why portion control is important. Having all the types of foods is important, and both together you can do wonders.
Yes, I agree, definitely. So sometimes, there are affordable, locally available foods which can build a diabetes friendly plate across all different cultures. Could you suggest some?
Absolutely. When we talk about fruit today, everybody is talking about dragon fruit and kiwi fruit and berries, which is not affordable to the average population. Whereas a papaya slice or a guava or whatever the seasonal fruit is approachable to the greater part of the population. Similarly, if you see, when you look around, like green leafy vegetables is something very easily available all around. Moringa had to reach the whole world and come back as a superfood, whereas it's right here around us, right? So
Mhm.
let's use our traditional foods which are healthy and easily available and full of nutrients. Whether it's fiber, whether it's calcium, whether it's iron, a little bit of protein is there in green leafy vegetables. You add the dal and make them, it becomes even better. Then you
Yes.
can add all the watery vegetables, which are large quantities and it is affordable. So whether it's the ash gourd, the bottle gourd, these kind of things also can be used very easily and they're diabetic friendly too. And if you add the dal to that, it also becomes a very good dish which has, everything together. So these kind of traditional dishes are very useful and should be used. Like amla, for example.
Yes.
I always say ABC juice, even if you want to have it, you don't have to have any juice. But if you want to have it also, make it amla and not apple.
Right. Is it true that only overweight women get diabetes?
Sorry, homemade?
Is it
Homemakers.
true? No, that only overweight, you know,
Overweight.
obese.
No, no, no,
Yes.
no. There is skinny diabetes also. That's why we were telling. It's a genetic issue, right? So if your family is from a skinny family, you can still get diabetes. It doesn't mean that only overweight you can get diabetes. It's just that the percentage of people with diabetes with overweight is far higher than those who are lean. That is why people think that, that only overweight people get diabetes. Not at all. And today it doesn't work that if your grandfather had, if your father had, only then you get. If you lead a very bad lifestyle, you can still get diabetes. Yes, genetics plays a major role, but even otherwise, if you lead a very poor lifestyle, you can get it even though it may not be in your family. So these are very important. And in fact, GDM, gestational diabetes, can come in very thin women too. I've seen in Dr. Session's clinic where I did my PhD, where absolutely thin people coming from a very low economic group, they also have diabetes. They had GDM, So it can happen. Thin people also need to watch out.
Right. And what message would you like to give to young women so that they can start early in trying to prevent diabetes?
The best is watch your weight, and it's very important. Take time off for exercise. The out of the five food groups we mentioned, what you need to increase is protein, vegetables. What you need to reduce is carbs and fat. Even in the carbs, use the whole grains like red rice, black rice. Even if you're buying wheat, buy the whole wheat and make your own atta, because in the packets they have to remove the fiber because it will not stay till the expiry date. So these are very important things. Watch your weight, increase your protein, increase the vegetable consumption. Vegetables should not be always root vegetables. It should be green, orange, red, and yellow so that you get variety. And the green has all the green leafy vegetables, has the watery vegetables. So this is what you should look into. And once you do that and reduce the oil, this is very, very important because 1 gram of oil or fat is 9 calories, whereas your carbs and protein is 4 calories. So if you go wrong in oil, you're going wrong more than double, right? Four plus four is 8, whereas the
That is
fat is
nine.
9 calories. So you will go doubly wrong. And where we are saying 15 ml per day, half a liter per month, these young people are using 1 to 1.5 liters per person per month. And this is a gross mistake. And that's where you need to focus.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Dharani Krishnan, for joining us today. Could you show us the certificate, please? This is a small
Thank you.
token of thanks from our side because you really spoke so well and gave us so many tips about being healthy. That will be all for today. Thank you again, ma'am. Dr. KK Med Talks will return tomorrow at 7 p.m. with another edition of the show. Keep watching Dr. KK Med Talks. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you.